food insecurity is an issue for individuals who may have access to food but may not have access to the proper foods because they end up eating foods that actually cause more damage to their health. We serve a lot of individuals with hypertension and diabetes. And what we have found is that when they don't have a lot of money, they buy a lot of prepared foods, and the prepared foods actually have a lot of salt and a lot of fat, and those contribute to increased health issues. So while food insecurity sometimes means lack of access, we often find it means a lack of access to nutrition dense foods, no or little vegetables and fruit in the diet. And so for us, it's really important for our patients to learn the value of nutritious food and provide access for nutritious food versus just any food.
And obviously looking at urban versus rural, is there a sort of is there more on, is it more of an issue in our rural areas, or are we seeing it in our urban areas as well?
Well, I primarily serve in rural areas, so I'm not really sure about the problems of urban areas, or I'm not very familiar with them. But in our rural areas, we see a couple of different causes for food insecurity and lack of food access. One is that we do have food deserts where there may not be access to healthy foods, or food swamps where the food that is available may be primarily frozen or prepared foods or fast food. So I work in several rural counties, and in one in particular in Wirt County, there aren't a lot of residents in the county. And so to be able to keep fresh produce or fruit on the shelves, even of the local grocery store, can be difficult because of the low population using the grocery stores. And so what we see is a lot of increases in prepackaged or prepared foods. We do have some food deserts, which means that they don't have access necessarily to a local grocery store. I know for many of our residents who are patients who live in Wirt County or in the surrounding counties, it is often a trip of 45 minutes to an hour to get access to food. So you don't do that frequently. You make special arrangements to go and do that, and you're not going to be able to buy a lot of fresh produce and fresh vegetables if you're going to only be making a trip once a month to the grocery store.
Now, if you would talk a bit about what you guys are doing, I believe it is the pharmacy program, FARM. Talk about what a program like that means to these rural areas.
Yeah, Coplin Health Systems has done a pharmacy now for 2 years, a pharmacy, FARM pharmacy. And what we've done is we've partnered with local food produce aggregators. So we've partnered with farmers markets, and then most recently we partnered with Rural Action, which is a produce aggregator who is located in Athens. And what they do is they gather produce from all of the local farmers, and they distribute the produce as appropriate. So we've partnered with them, and we've been able to give access to, this year it's 465 patients to have fresh produce every other week for a period of 10 weeks. They received about a half a peck or about 10 pounds of vegetables every other week. So that provided them access. And then what we learned was, because this is a newer introduction of food to their lifestyle, they needed training. And so we partnered with West Virginia University Extension Service and have offered them training and recipes on how to use the vegetables. So we actually have seen overall health improvement because our patients now are learning the importance of fresh produce, fresh vegetables in their diet. They're actually being able to incorporate those into their diet because they're learning new ways to prepare them and to use them. And then we provide them with the regular access. So every other week they're getting their delivery, and that allows them to practice and use it. And what we've found is that we see improved health markers, A1Cs. I haven't been able to aggregate all of the health markers for this year, but in the preliminary ones for Wirt County in particular, we saw improvements in hypertension, in diabetes, A1C measurements, in weight. And so we see an overall improvement in health. And it was very interesting because this year we provided them with information about the importance of exercise in with their produce bags. And 61% of our participants reported that they had increased exercise. So when you increase a focus on your food and what you're putting into your body, it just helps you be aware of the need to focus on the body, your health, your overall health. And so I thought it was wonderful to see that it actually spurred on other healthy lifestyle improvements like exercise.
That's fantastic. I think the final question I'll ask is, if someone, say in another state or another part of our state even, was looking at the impact of food insecurities and maybe was overwhelmed by the concept, what would you say to someone who was maybe trying to get a start on making a program like this happen, getting those fruits and vegetables into people's hands?
Well, we found that it was actually pretty easy once we started partnering with other organizations, because there are a lot of organizations that understand the impact of food insecurities in our state. And so by partnering with those organizations and find out what they were doing and who their resources were, we have quickly been able to grow a network of organizations that are willing to support this type of effort. So, and we're very excited. We're actually applying for a larger grant to see if we can expand this to 8 counties. And I know that there are 8 other counties in the state that are working on a pharmacy. So there are a lot of organizations that have experience. So I would say reach out to those organizations and then reach out to the organizations in your community and find out what you have available. A lot of what we're doing through the pharmacy is just linking our resources together and helping make the pickup and the delivery of the services a easy one-stop shop for patients. So work together. It's super easy.
I will ask just one more thing. Have you had feedback from people in the pharmacy program? Like, how have they felt being able to have access to these fruits and vegetables to see improvements in their personal health? Are they excited about it? Have they been, surprised by it? What have you been seeing?
The feedback from the pharmacy has been amazing. We are always overwhelmed by the response of the community. A lot of our elderly patients who are part of the program have expressed just their gratitude because fruits and vegetables are not something they're able to afford on their limited budgets. And so they express gratitude because it's something they're able to reintroduce into their diet now that they're on a fixed income. We've had one of my favorite success stories is a young boy. He's 13. He uses the fruits and vegetables that we provide as his own personal chopped episode. And so he has experimented and just gained a love for cooking as a result of participating in the program. And so many people have said, I know I really need to focus on my diet and I needed help. And this was the help that I needed to help me understand how to do that. Because it's really difficult to make lifestyle changes that will impact your overall health long term. A lot of times, we may be able to make short-term changes without support, but we really need that support unit to be able to make the longer term change. And so the program provides the cheerleaders and the support needed. Our providers are just an integral part of the program because it helps them be able to help their patients understand what it's going to take to make a lifestyle change. So overall, again, the feedback's just overwhelmingly positive.
Any final thoughts that you have with regards to, the impact of food insecurity in rural America, or just in general, just being able to see programs like this help people make those changes?
Yeah, I think this type of program is key to being able to impact rural America and the food insecurity issues because it really addresses the issues from so many different angles. We're talking about the healthcare angle, the education perspective, the access perspective, being able to partner with the food banks and the food pantries, and the food produce aggregators in the state, helps them to be able to get what they are producing and they know is better for the population out into the population. So that's been really a positive benefit. And then what we're able to do when we all cooperate together is to really collect the health markers and the information that proves that this is the best case scenario for the patients in order to be able to improve this community and clinical linkages. So that's, moving forward, that's one of the things that all of our organizations are super excited about. Now our community educators are going to be able to have longitudinal data about the impact of healthy foods in the community and how it can impact the overall health and the long-term health of patients. And our food banks also, get that information because those are things that they don't have the resources to be able to collect. And so when they partner with the health clinic, now they're able to collect that information in addition to the information that they are typically collecting on their patients. So it's a really good partnership. And I really recommend that we all just look at more and more partnerships where we can gather healthcare data measures along with community quantitative and qualitative data.